Hi, my name is Kimberly Anderson, and I am an English teacher here at I Succeed Virtual High School. When I heard about the roadshow that the administration was putting on, I talked to our principal, Mr. Ritter, about some thoughts I had of things that I thought that you as prospective students and your parents should probably know about going to an online school. I have taught in the online world for, I believe this is my 6th or 7th year. I've lost track of time. So a lot of the tips and tricks I have are rooted in the experiences that I've had with previous students, with things that I've tried on my own, and with hints that I've gotten along the way from my students. So the first thing that I think is really important that all online students understand is that going to an online school is not easier than going to a brick and mortar school. A lot of times I think that people perceive online school as much easier. But the truth of the matter is that the information that you would typically get from your teacher in the time period in which you are in their classroom, so whether it's a 50-minute period or a 90-minute block, you are actually going to be getting on your own because you are teaching yourself the material based upon the curriculum that we provide to you. You always have the support of your teachers, and we're here to answer your questions. However, you are responsible for actually obtaining the information and learning the information. We are here to clarify the information and to help you along the way when you hit those bumps of concepts you don't understand or processes that you are struggling to get through. So you need to understand that online school is actually more difficult than the brick and mortar school in the fact that you are responsible for so much more of your education. Because of this, there is a huge time commitment, and it seems as though the week is never ending. So when I originally started teaching for the online school, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, you know, there are 5 days in a week, there are 24 hours in a day, I have all this time to do things. But time goes quickly, and so you really need to be able to schedule your time well in order to be successful. Typically what I tell students whom I advise is that you want to dedicate 8 hours per day per class that you're taking. So if you're taking 5 classes, that means you are spending minimally 40 hours a week reading the curriculum online, doing the quizzes, doing the assessments, writing papers, doing projects, that type of thing. So it's not that there's necessarily less time. The perk is that you can schedule that time when it is best for you. And that is the bonus of the online school. We are not telling you that you have to go to school from 7:30 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon. We're telling you that sometime from Monday to Sunday, you need to fit in 40 hours of work. And you can fit that in whenever you want. If you're one of those people that's up at 2 o'clock in the morning, more power to you. Do it then. If you're one of those early risers like me, 6 o'clock in the morning is when I grade a lot of my papers because my house is quiet, I'm awake, and it's when I can get things done. So you can set your time schedule based on what is best for you. But you do need to understand that there is a time commitment. You also need to understand that your reading comprehension level has to be proficient, that you have to be a good reader, because a lot of the material that we give you is in the reading format. Our curriculum has a lot of videos, it has games. We make it as interactive as possible, but a majority of what you're going to get is because you're reading it. Our quizzes are reading, our tests are reading, you're going to be writing papers, you're going to be doing projects, but a lot of the information that we give to you is through reading. So if you struggle with reading comprehension, this is going to be something that you want to take into consideration because that 40 hours a week is going to increase a little bit. Another tip that I always give to my students is that you want to set a schedule. A lot of you have other time commitments, jobs, some of you have children, some of you have doctor's appointments that you need to go to, some of you have to take care of siblings or a family member maybe who's sick, and you have other time commitments. So set your schedule ahead of time. On a Sunday, sit down and lay out what your week looks like so that you don't run out of time. And it's easier to lay it out in the beginning than it is to try to scramble to fit it in at the end. If you can, try working the same time every day. The reason that schools run the same time every day is because that it's a set schedule. We know, English is going to be first period, math is going to be second period, so forth and so on. Finally, my big tip and trick kind of thing is the timer method. Statistically, it is proven that students learn best when they work in a large chunk of time. So minimally, you want to look at 3.5 hours of time in which you are working. While you're working for that 3.5 hours, you want to work only on one subject, because the transition into and out of different subjects takes up time. So what I typically tell my students is lay out your schedule in a more holistic way. Don't look at your schedule as you have to do all 5 or 6 subjects, however many classes you're taking, every day. You need to finish that work within that week. So Monday could be math, Tuesday could be English, Wednesday could be science, Thursday could be social studies, Friday could be foreign language or your elective. But you want to work in as large of a chunk of time as you possibly can. When you are working in your chunk of time, use a timer. And this sounds so silly, but it really works. The first 2 years I worked online, I would click to Facebook really quickly just to check up on a status, or I would click to another page just to do really quick shopping, and 2 hours later I realized I hadn't clicked back because time would get away from me. So I implemented the timer method, which is I set a timer for 50 minutes. And for that 50 minutes, I work specifically on grading papers. For you, it would be working on one of your classes. And I work for the full 50 minutes. When the timer goes off, I reset the timer for 10 minutes. That's my 10-minute break. That's when I get up and I get something to eat. I walk around my house. I change my laundry over if I have to. I click onto Facebook and see what's going on in the world. I shop if I'm really lucky. But I use those 10 minutes as my fun time. And then when that timer goes off, I set my timer again for 50 minutes. I have found, and the students that I have asked to implement this and who have found that it helps them to keep on track. After a while, you won't need to actually use the timer. Your mind will automatically do it. If you struggle with your attention, as I do, you might find that it might be a 45-minute work block. So you want to make sure that you can work for that period of time. And really, it should push your comfortable boundaries just a little bit. So if you can work comfortably for 40 minutes, push it for that extra 10 to get that work done. And you want to do that for the entire time you work so that you are getting the most out of the time you're working. I hope that you have enjoyed my presentation. I hope that I get to meet some of you next year as new students. The online world is a phenomenal place to be. iSucceed is a great, great school. You have very dedicated teachers. You have an amazing administration. We put together a support system for you that is really set up for you to succeed. So I look forward to hopefully meeting you next year, and I hope you enjoy the roadshow. Thanks a lot, and have a good day.